Hey, what's happening, Cheesecake Nation? It is your old pals, Super Judge Funk and the Dave, blasting at ya with another This Week in Wrestling. This is going to be a doozy.
Yeah, this is a week of many things. Some good.
Some not so good, some fairly bad. But
some neutral.
Yeah, so because this is a pay-per-view week, we're going to start off with Lucha. And it was the last day of Ultima Lucha Dos. My TV didn't get a chance to record it, but according to what my co-host over here says, I didn't miss much.
Alright, I have seen a lot of people talking about it, and it feels like they're giving them a pass on things. If you want to be a fair, impartial person, you should. Alright, so we started out with the trios match. It was my boys, the Dick Kick Mafia, Mundo, PJ Black, Jack Evans, versus the dubbed Super Friends, Drago, Aerostar, and Phoenix. And it started out really good. I mean, there's definitely a lot to like in this match, but after the ref bump, it got super ridiculous.
Oh, yeah?
It felt like forever. This match felt so long.
Oh, jeez.
Like, they were just kind of standing around. They were doing, like, their belt spots, hitting people with the belts, kicking them in the groin. They actually came up with, like, a new finish that was pretty cool. Evans and PJ got them up like they were going to go for, like, a crucifix bomb. Like, each one held an arm. And Mundo grabbed him by the feet, spun him inside out, so he did, like, a flip and landed in a power bomb.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that worked pretty well. So they get the referee in after the triple belt chair tail, I guess we'll call it. All three ran in, all three hit him at the belt at the same time from different angles. A little belt squisher, if you will. They got the referee in. Kick out. So then PJ Black starts stomping on the referee, threw him out. So then they're like doing their thing again, and then out comes Angelico, who they didn't really build up that Mundo had anything to do with it before this. So I'm just like, huh, that's kind of weird. So he's like, and crippling his ass out there. But then he attacks Mundo, and he seems to be fine. But then he's selling it again like he's on the other crutch. And I'm just like,
oh, jeez.
what the hell? So, yeah, it was really weird booking. It just felt super overbooked. The good guys win. Yeah. I mean, to the guys in the ring, they all did their spots really well. The thing after the ref bump felt super long. Like, I don't know if Angelico, like, blew a spot or something, or if it was supposed to just feel that long and nothing. Alright, so then we go on to our next match. It was El Dragonez Tekka Jr. versus Black Lotus. And she seems alright. I don't think she's anything amazing, but granted, I've only ever seen her in one match, so... Pentagon Jr. came out. So at this time, I should probably explain what happened at the very beginning of the show. Vampiro and Pentagon Jr. were just standing around at some Zordon Yoda cave. And he's like, you have to go in there and you'll fight your darkness and whatever. So Pentagon beat up a bunch of other guys dressed as Pentagon. And then a giant Pentagon appeared, and then he beat that guy up, and that was apparently Vampiro. So now Pentagon has defeated his darkness, which makes no sense because it was Vampiro. Alright, so yeah, he comes out, he's in all black gear, and he's like, I am no longer Pentagon Jr. I am Pentagon Black. And they're like, oh, black, it's like the dark. And I'm just
like that thing he just had to defeat. Okay.
I know you can't see my face, but I pretty much just like if somebody had shot a lemon into my mouth and I wasn't ready for it. I was just like, Okay, that's pretty weird, but all right. So then him and Matanza have a match, and again.
Oh, you forgot about the whole. You were about to explain the Dragon Azteca Lotus match.
Yeah, Pentagon came out. That's what happened. He broke both their arms and just ruined Lotus's introduction match and Azteca's first big singles match, other than the one with Puma. So, congrats. So then we have that match. Apparently, it was no disqualification, despite the fact they never said that. Because they were like, well, you know, Dario, he wants there to be a winner. Why? His brother's the champion. Why wouldn't he just disqualify Pentagon and be like, you idiot? Like, way to get yourself disqualified. My brother's still the champ. Let's go. So, apparently, it was a no disqualification match. So, Pentagon got in like 99.9% of the offense. He couldn't get Matanza down. Vampiro hands him a baseball bat with barbed wire, but he gets stopped by Dario. He goes to break Dario's arm. Matanza hits him with the baseball bat. Picks him up, does his Clash of the Gods, like, reverse power slam thing, and wins. Super just like, oh, okay. Alright. So then we went on to the baddest bitch in the land match. Taya versus Ivelisse. Pretty solid little match. Really cool spot. They're both probably 3 steps up on the steps going towards the top. And they both have each other by the hair, and they're just kind of wrestling, and they both did like a... While holding on to one another, both kind of took a dive off the stairs onto the mat. That was a really cool looking spot. I really liked that. So they get into the ring, and I can't remember exactly what. Ivelisse hits something cool. And then the referee's counting. It's like 1, 2. The lights go out. Referee's gone. Katrina's in there in her wrestling gear. She hits her finish thing. Lights go out. Referee's back in there. Taya's now on top of Ivelisse. Your winner. Lights go back out. Katrina, she's up on the thing. Looking all sexy and evil. So, it was just kind of... Like, at this point, I was just like... Every match has had a fuck finish. But I'm seeing all these people that are like, oh, Ultima Lucha was amazing. I'm just like... You gotta be fair. Either everybody gets called out when they do really stupid shit, or nobody does. So then main event, Ray and Puma. And going in, I was like a bajillion% sure Puma had to go over. He's younger, he's the face of the company. So they had a really solid match. I've seen a lot of people kind of being like, oh, this is the best I've ever seen Ray. I'm like, no, he's showing his age a little bit. The Striker and Vampiro really trying to put him over. Puma looked a billion times better. I mean, I'm just going to be serious. Like, I love Ray, but at this point, Puma looks like a bajillion dollars standing next to him.
Yeah.
So we get a bunch of near falls. You get to see all the Puma's cool little moves. He misses a 630. For some reason, they called a 450 a 630. I don't know why, but yeah, they did. Ray ends up going over with the 619, and then like a springboard Hurricane Rana with the leg hook, like his classic one before he started using the battered sausage. Pretty solid match. It confuses me why Ray went over. I don't know if that was just creative control. Like, I don't want to believe Ray's that kind of guy.
No.
Like a Hogan-esque. So hopefully they're going to build the next season around that, and Puma will either go heel or something. Something will happen that makes this make sense. Alright, so then we end the night. The Vampiro and Matt Striker are just being like, oh, thanks for everything. Blah, blah, blah. So then Pentagon comes out of the crowd, hits Vampiro in the back with the barbed wire bat. Super kicks. What the hell was that? Well, apparently Marilyn didn't enjoy that.
No, just not.
So, yeah, he's super kick striker, hits Vampiro with the baseball bat, and then drags Vampiro into the ring, and he's scraping him, just tearing him up with the barbed wire bat. So then we go back, and apparently Dario was arrested. That's how the night ends.
Huh.
You don't see him getting arrested. He's just in the back of a police car, and he's smiling. So we'll see what goes on from here. Really weird. It wasn't anywhere near as good as last season's Ultima Lucha, especially finale for finale. We didn't really get much out of this one. We'll see. I don't do spoilers, so I don't really know what's going on in season 3. I know they've already shot it. I think they were just shooting Ultima Lucha a couple weeks ago for next season. So, alright guys, that's it for Lucha. We'll be moving on to, what do you want to do next? NXT Cruiserweight Classic?
We'll do NXT.
Alright, the roar of the crowd, drop your feet, jump down, bam, 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 cause it's me, with me, bam, with me. Alright.
I think Merlin appreciated your singing. Merlin, shut up, please. Seriously. Alright. So, starting off was kind of a weird start. You have Rhino versus the NXT champion Samoa Joe.
Yeah, so could anybody just be like, yes, I'd like to face the champion? I was important once. I'm friends with Edge and Christian. You give me I'm not sure if it was a title match or not.
No.
It was just really weird. It was pretty damn close to a squash, though.
Yeah.
Joe got in probably a good 80% of the offense. He wasn't really selling when he was on the defense, so they made Joe look really strong. Rhino showed his age.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Yeah.
I honestly thought he retired.
I think if you're to keep Rhino around, and you've got Brian Kendrick maybe putting them together in an old band tag team kind of thing, it's Rhino wasn't bad, but by the end of the match he was kind of, he was looking a little worse for wear. Alright, so then
could have been a worse match, but this was a pretty decent match. American Alpha versus the Authors of Pain.
So the Authors of Pain came out after American Alpha was making their entrance and attacked them from behind. Got in the ring, did their I'm big and angry, and the other one went, I am equally angry and also big. But then the match still happened after Regal and everybody came out and they were like, oh no, there'd be no match tonight. But then it's like, no, we want to fight them. Yeah, so the highlights of this match: Chad Gable's exploder suplex, Jason Jordan's top rope dive to the outside on one of the Authors. I wasn't a big fan of the Author of Pain's finish. It's like a Russian leg sweep and the other one clotheslines him. I liked, they were using a sidewalk slam with a kick to the head thing. That's I like that much more. Yeah. Or even that, one of them went for a bear hug and the other one avalanche. Yeah. That's a cool finish too. I just like those a lot more than what they actually used to finish this match. I kind of got a feeling they're just kind of in their experimental phase, see what looks good, what they can hit. But if you ask me, I'd go sidewalk slam big boot. I think that's a cool one. Looks cool, looks devastating, and we'll see. A little worried for my boys though, top guys. Yeah.
Right. So then, speaking of squash matches, we had the most moderate dude ever, Austin Aries, versus the most patriotic pants I've ever seen, Patrick Clark.
Who looked like he had bird shit on his face.
Yeah, we for the life of us couldn't, there was a white streak down the face side of his pants.
It looked like an eagle took a shit on his face.
So that was weird, but we were looking for. Anyway, this was a squash match.
Yeah, it made Austin Aries look good. Finished it with the last chancery. Then he got beat up and chased off by No Way Jose. Yeah, solid little angle. Yeah. Nothing I'm against, nothing I'm super for. Just, it was TV.
Alright. And then, last match of the night, the main event was Bayley's sort of revenge match against Nia Jax.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, like you don't really expect like a lot of big women to be like decent wrestlers, but whenever Nia Jax is out there, she always puts on a good show. And Bayley, I mean, she's one of the best female wrestlers in the business right now.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of character, mic skills, because I've seen a lot of people like, oh, you might not want to put her on the mic. I think she's fine. I mean, she's not going to be cutting, epic promos, but she can.
She gets her point across, and she.
So yeah, as a total package, I'd probably say either her or Charlotte are the best right now. Like, I think Charlotte's so far from every other woman on the mic right now. I mean, maybe Nikki. Nikki's pretty solid on them. I mean, like, granted, her promos make me want to headbutt my katana, but she gets. I mean, as long as she's a heel, it works. I think Charlotte's just. I have one worry about Charlotte is she's slowly devolving into Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah.
Like, she's cutting the exact same cadence. She sounds kind of like her. I'm just like, oh. So we'll see where they're going with that. But all right, yeah. So solid little match. Wasn't super into the finish, but it popped a lot of people in the crowd. So I can't be against it. Nia Jax was gonna go for a Brett's rope leg drop, I assume. But Bayley popped up. Bayley to belly. Bounced her off the middle rope. Slammed her down. Nia sold it like she was dead. So, it's cool with me. Oh, she had something in the match that I really liked, Nia. I'm trying to remember what the hell it was. Because I was like, man, that could be a cool finish for her. Oh, the jackhammer.
Right.
I mean, she didn't get it quite right, but it wasn't a matter of strength. It was just technique. Like, when you do a jackhammer, you want to get that other hand to balance, and you drop and turn at the same time, and like she just didn't get the turn in. So, like, it kind of looked a little rough, but that was purely on technique. That wasn't any, like, limitations on her. I think, she does it a couple more times. Because if you ask Hogan, he'll tell you, doing a leg drop every night gives you some bad hips. So, I want to get Nia off the dropping on her ass. Don't want her having bad hips, bad legs, bad back. So I think jackhammer, especially for a woman to hit the jackhammer, could look really fucking cool.
Yeah. Gives her something different.
I don't think there's any women. If she can hit it on Natty, I'd give it to her as her finish. That's my big thing. I mean, you can keep the leg drop for certain things. Or even a flying whoopsie. The northern exposure, if you will, as Big Josh called it. The, running sit down. Yeah. Just to protect her knees a little bit and everything else. Like, I think that's a better move than making her do the leg drop every night. Yeah. So I just don't want her. Like, that's the same thing with my boy Fandango doing the Alabama Jam, Tennessee Jam, whatever you want to call it. The flying leg drop. Like, that's asking to be walking around like Mick Foley when you're in your 40s. So, alright. So that was NXT. The only other thing we got was my boys, the tag team champions, and Gargano and Ciampa had a little interaction, so we're probably going to get that down the line.
I'm on. What are you doing?
Alright, you want to move straight into the Cruiserweight Classic?
Yeah.
Alright, so throw me out the names.
Alright, first match of the night, our boy and everybody's boy, Tajiri, a.k.a. Todgers, representing Japan, versus Damian Slater, representing Australia.
Slater was pretty damn solid. I liked him. Yeah. He made Todgers look good. I love the spots of him trying to trade kicks with him, but not being able to do it. That's good psychology right there. That's something you can't really teach. Right. Either you get it or you don't get it, and he definitely gets it. So I could see WWE wanting to get Slater. He's got a base to build on. We were just talking about Rhino, so being a little on the older side. Did you really get any of that sense with Tajiri?
No. He...
I thought so, on a back bump, trying to get up. Yeah. It took him, just a fraction of a second longer.
Yeah, he definitely gave off, the grizzled veteran vibe. But Rhino kind of did it in sort of a negative way, and then Tajiri kind of did it in more of a positive way. If anyone can get behind that.
And Tajiri still looked good. Tajiri selling a knee injury the right way by throwing kicks with the other leg.
Yeah.
Nakamura. Alright, I think that's pretty much all to
Yep.
say. Tajiri goes over with the buzzsaw kick.
Yep. Very, very good match.
Oh, one other thing. Tajiri, I think he had different music. Like, that didn't sound like his standard WWE, WWF music. Like, it sounded like a weird remix of it or something. It was just kind of weird. I don't know if anybody else noticed it.
Alright. I think this was my favorite match of the night. Damac representing Germany versus T.J. Perkins representing the Philippines, even though he's from Los Angeles.
Yeah, this was a pretty damn good match. I'd have to give it to the one. Yeah, I'd go to the one after this is my favorite, probably.
Yeah, that one was good.
The main event was also really good. So Perkins kind of got the early kind of everything in. Damac got in a lot of really cool stuff. They were both very much.
Merlin! Not it. Sugar, go tell Merlin to shut up.
She wants to go outside. Old Judge here got her a harness. He just took her for a walk, but she wants to go for another walk, apparently. Alright, so yeah, they, you were really into Damac.
Oh my god, like, the urban German fucking wrestling Michael Jackson thing, like, that was just awesome. Came out to the fucking ring in the red coat and the glove, moonwalking. That was awesome. Like, that was a cool gimmick. Like, I was, like, so split. Like, the last, like, these next two matches, I was really split, like, on who I thought was going to win. Like, these were just excellent matches. Just phenomenal. Very entertaining.
I mean, I've known Perkins for so long that I was like, I was happy that he ended up getting the victory, but pretty solid. He won it with a, like, knee bar sitting thing. Merlin, here.
Remember?
She got on the couch. Yeah, so that was pretty much that match. Alright, so moving on, we had Mustafa Ali,
representing Pakistan?
or as I called him, Pakistani Seth Rollins, versus
Lince Dorado, representing Puerto Rico.
And this was I think this was the first one, actually no, I was going to say this is the first one we were kind of split on. Because at first you really weren't big onto Lindsay, like you thought his mask was a little, like granted he had like the overbite thing on his mask.
Yeah, that's just the only thing that I wasn't digging really. But, you know.
His Hurricane Run on the outside, holy shit. Yeah. And then the reverse Hurricane Run in the ring. Old Pakistani Seth Rollins is looking a little worse for wear after the match.
Oh, yeah.
But he had some pretty cool moves. I loved his dive through the ropes, rolled through, and then like immediately jumped up into a neck breaker. Like that was really cool.
Oh yeah.
His I don't even know what to like call it, like an inside out shooting star thing. Like he's like facing outside, so like he would be in a moonsault position, but then like flipped upside down and in. Like he missed it, but you know, he didn't do anything wrong. It looked really cool. I like that move. I'm trying to think if there's any other particularly really awesome. His combat roll on the ring apron thing was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
So it was kind of weird. They were like, "Oh, he's a police officer," but then like he immediately went heel. I was just like, "Oh, that was kind of a weird choice." Like either don't go heel or don't mention he's a police officer. Like one or the other. I mean, maybe there's a lot of people out there that want to heel police officer right now in the world, but it was just like a really weird thing to like hear back to back. It's like, oh, it's like, yeah, he tries really hard in his spare time. He's a police officer, and they're like, oh,
he just did like a really healing thing.
Yeah, like, will you shake my hand? He's like, no. So yeah, this was definitely my favorite match. Lindsay wins with a shooting star. Pretty cool little match. I could see both these guys getting contracts. They both had really solid characters, really solid in ring. Like if I was WWE, these are two guys I would go after.
Yeah.
And the last two guys. What was the opening again?
The first match?
Yeah.
It was Tajiri and Damian Slider.
Todgers, I think probably bring in just to be like, oh, Cruiserweight Classic, like he'll do a match.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't expect one just later. I could see them bringing in. I mean, a lot of these guys are really good. All right, so moving on to the main event.
Was Akira Tozawa, representing Japan,
Boy.
versus Kenneth Johnson, representing the USA.
Judge's boy. Really good. They made Ken Johnson look super duper strong.
Yeah.
Because I was a veteran. I've been watching him for about 10 years in Dragon Gate. So it was really cool to... Like, at first I was like, man, I know that name from somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a while since I've really watched Dragon Gate. Like, a lot. Like, but he was at the era where I was watching it. So, like, the whole story was Tozawa's more experienced and a better striker, but Ken Johnson wants it more, effectively. And he was doing really solid work. It was kind of weird they brought up the fact that WWE turned him down because he has a speech impediment. Like, way to make the company look horrible. Like, I get it. You need to be able to talk. Because for whatever reason, WWE doesn't seem to want to do managers. Do managers. But, yeah, so both looked really good. Tozawa's German suplex.
Oh, jeez.
Holy shit. He, like, threw him immediately. Like, because usually you kind of get, like, the buck in the throw. Like, he immediately just, like, dropped the hips German. And then deadlifted him, and then German with the bridge as the finish. Oh, thing of beauty. Loved it. Loved it, loved it.
Absolutely. This is, again, so far there hasn't been a bad match in this whole tournament.
Yeah, we've been trying to predict. Right now, I think I'm at 7? No.
I think you're at 6.
6, and you're at what?
Yeah, you missed one last one and won this one, I think.
Yeah.
So you're at 6. I think I'm at 4?
Yeah. So we're not doing too bad. You're about 50. I'm a little bit above that. So, all right. Trying to think, what was there? Zack Saber's on next week, and the Brian Kendrick. So I'm kind of curious, like, what their main event for the following week is, because that's what I would have assumed. I thought Todgers would be the main event of this week. So, week 4. Curious to see who they're going to put in the main event, because you're going to have the other Bollywood boy. I know he'll be in the last week. So I assume Zack Sabre Jr. is going over. As I predicted, I think he's going to be the final guy. I think he's going to win it all. But to be fair, they did just hire, what's his name? Japanese dude from last week.
Oh, yeah, it was, crap. Hold on a minute.
Yeah, they just hired him. They gave him and Grand Metalik contracts, and I've heard there's other
Kota
people.
Ibushi.
Yeah, Ibushi. I don't know why I wanted to call him a Deho. I'm like, that's not his name. And Kenta should be back, so looking like NXT is going to become Japan Central. Especially if the rumors about Joe going to the main roster are true. So that would be champion Nakamura, champion Asuka, Kota Ibushi debuting, Hideo Itami coming back in 2 weeks. Who knows? I assume Todgers will probably do something there. We've seen a lot of Japanese people. That's what I'm saying. I'm making a judgment call, just saying. It's going to be a fact.
Alright, guys, now getting into the nitty-gritty of this week. Starting off with Raw. This was the week of the draft. So, we started off the Raw with Shane and Stephanie coming out, giving the announcements of who their general managers are going to be. Now, a lot of people, ourselves included, assumed that, you know, Steph's going to go the low road and just have her husband Triple H be the manager for Raw. She surprised
Cerebral Assassin. The 14-time champion.
She ended up picking Mick Foley, which He's one of my all-time favorites.
The man who retired Mick Foley. Yeah, it was kind of weird. It sets up a really, really weird dynamics. Hopefully they kind of fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's pretty much being like, they probably brought him into some... They got 2 shows coming out. Total Bellas and Holy Foley. Look at who the GMs are. That's kind of the assumption of why they did it. But it's like, it was, as a dynamic, it was really weird. It would have worked better, I think, is if they had to pick each other's GM.
That would have been interesting.
And he's like, I think I got the perfect guy who can put you in your place, and that was Mick Foley. And then, like, Steph was like, you know, you're all business and whatever. So she's like, you're going to go with Daniel Bryan. And she tried to, like, use it as, like, a look how cool I am kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to screw you over, Shane. I'm magnanimous. Kind of an asshole thing.
Yeah. And obviously, first SmackDown Live is getting Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately, it kind of got leaked, so it kind of got ruined for a lot of people.
Yeah, good job, WWE. It wasn't even like a leak from, like, some asshat. WWE themselves leaked it. I assume they wanted to get eyes on Raw.
Yeah.
So, Raw was pretty skippable this week, I have to say.
Yeah,
Alright, let's just kind of fly through it a little bit. SmackDown we'll kind of get into a little bit more because it was definitely the more...
Alright, first we had a tag match. The same fucking guys from the Money in the Bank that we've seen a bajillion times. This time, it was Kevin Owens and Jericho versus Sami Zayn and Cesaro. Again, it's not a terrible match, but it's just shit we've seen. Like my boy King Ross always says, new era, same old shit.
Yeah.
It's...
Freshen up your shit, WWE. Like, there's a lot of stuff you could be doing right now. Like, you could have used that time to put the Wyatts over. Like, you could have done something...
I'm gonna get into this later once we talk about the draft, because
I just want to
this
give, like,
right here.
a good example. Like, you could have had Kevin and Jericho versus Cass and Enzo and made all of them look good. And then do your face team versus whatever heel team you want, whether it's the Wyatts, whether it's the Club, whether it's any of these actual heel teams, and like split these guys up for just a little bit. Like every match they have does not need to be against one another. It's why no one cares when it comes time for pay-per-view.
Alright, so the faces win. Ooh. Then we had Darren Young versus Alberto Del Rio.
Which wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No.
Miz and Maurice on commentary getting over the rules for the draft. So thank you, Miz. I know he doesn't get thanked enough. He's not even like, Miz isn't even my boy. Like, even if he wasn't a world champion, like, I'm still not super into Miz, but a lot of people seem to hate on him for no reason.
Yeah.
So
this was a pretty interesting match, you know. Of course, Miz, you know, Darren Young having a championship match at Battleground versus the Miz. Miz tries to get Darren Young, you know, tries to screw him up.
I have to say I like the booking of Darren Young only ever winning because something else happens. Like, he doesn't cause his own wins, effectively.
Yeah.
So we got a little bit of heat with Berto and Miz, so who knows what they're going to do. Apparently nothing if you watch SmackDown. So, yeah.
Sad. Darren Young
sad
wins that one.
Del Rio loses.
Alright, and then we had... Oh, boy. We had the 12-man tag team match with...
Very long promos. And
that
looking like a complete fucking idiot.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't get it. What promos where people interact? That's crazy talk. Who would ever do those things? Where am I?
So it was first, Team Cena.
Then the Club came out. Well, first they cut their like, alright, you suck and you're ugly and I don't like your face. And the Club came out and they're like, oh no, you in fact suck and we're awesome. And we're going to beat up John Cena. Then the New Day came out and they cut a really weird promo.
Something about Pokemon Go. And apparently none of them even play Pokemon Go, I found out.
Yeah.
But they are all fans of Pokemon, so I don't care.
And then the Wyatts came out and did not cut a promo.
And then the cut to commercial and then the match started.
So, yeah. Let's just do the key points of this.
Bray Wyatt finally got to wrestle.
Yeah, he's got dreads.
There's your key point.
He has dreads now. Looks cool. I dig it. They're definitely looking like they want to set up Braun and Big Cass as the biggest hoss versus the bigger hoss. So, yeah, Braun Strowman looks like an absolute monster now. They did have a cool thing with Luke Gallows just completely overpowering Cena, so they're definitely going to give him a little bit of love.
Oh, I swear to God.
I thought you should have just closed the door. So, Carl Anderson, I'm assuming you're taking the pin on tonight. I should say on, what the hell is the review tonight called? Battleground. Battleground. That's how I remember it, because Steph says it really weird. Who won? The Faces?
Oh, no, it was Wyatt's and Club.
Who?
I believe it was the Club who picked it up at the end.
On Enzo?
Well, yeah, I want to say so. It's hard for me to remember.
Because I remember the SmackDown match a lot more clearly. Yeah. And that was a cool thing, but we'll get to that. So, yeah.
And then next up, we had a squash match, which was kind of stupid. Baron Corbin versus El Bacho. And your dreams finally came true because, as far as I can tell, they actually cut out Sin Cara's, like, eye holes.
Yeah, I can tell how little I gave a shit about this match. Don't even know what happened. Like, I literally looked up. I think I was, like, on my phone, like, looking at Facebook. And, like, I looked up and the match was already over. I was like, oh, I could rewind it. But,
yeah, so, there you go.
Sin Cara was getting beat up. Kalisto came out to save him.
And he got beat up.
Then Baron Corbin ran away, but then Baron Corbin came back.
Bro, I swear to God, I don't know why you're yelling so much.
So Baron Corbin beat up Kalisto on the outside. Setting up the little... Actually, where did Baron Corbin... Oh, he is on SmackDown, so yeah, they're setting that up. Whoop-de-doo. So yeah, that'll give you a SmackDown feud moving forward.
Alright, then we had a women's... I didn't say divas for once. A women's tag match. Sasha and Becky versus Charlotte and Dana.
Which ended in disqualification, which shows you how much they care and how much I care. So moving on.
We had another tag match. It was champions versus challengers. It was Rusev and Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler and Zack Ryder. This wasn't a terrible match. It was...
I loved my boy Rusev on the outside. Tag me!
Yeah. I remember. Oh, yeah.
You idiot! Tag me!
And just Sheamus would just not tag. Like, Rusev was just, like, sitting there.
He was like this, and then he, like, tucked it in, like, Rusev got all, like, crazy on it. So Rusev was made to look like an absolute monster, even over Sheamus level.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good luck, Ryder. You got your... Have they said anything about what's the pre-show for tonight?
I have no idea.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the order is. I hope it's not on the pre-show because I'd really like to enjoy that match. I mean, I guess I could Google it or something and go find it, but I can't be bothered. Alright,
so yeah, the heels won, champs win. So again,
well,
not
that champ. Sheamus not a champ. You're thinking about on SmackDown.
Oh right.
With
Miz and, right.
Yeah, there's a lot of like very similar matches on the two shows this week.
Sorry about that, guys. All right, and oh god, this fucking match was Dean versus Seth for the championship
with the continuation. It might as well just ended with to be continued.
Yeah.
So there was a ref bump, and then my most hated spot of all time. The superplex where they both end up rolling up. Like, I hate anybody who no-sells a superplex. Fuck you. I don't remember which one it was that no-sold, so fuck you to both of them for right now, even though I love Seth. But that is my, like, number one most hated spot. So they end up, like, entangling their legs. Both their shoulders are down. and they both get counted down, even though the referee didn't do the double arm pin, which you generally do when you want to count down both of them. So that you signal to the crowds, so you didn't just confuse everybody. So Stephanie goes into the ring, and she's like, I saw it, Seth won. And Shane's like, oh, I don't know, Steph.
Pretty sure Dean won.
Steph's like, no, gives the title to Seth. Ends with Seth with the title. SmackDown kicks off with Dean as the champ.
Yeah, so if you want to know what, like, if you're confused, you had to go online to see the rest of it.
Yeah. So fuck you. All right. So hello everybody, team for SmackDown here. All right. So
all right,
we would start out with our draft picks. I remember most of the important ones.
Okay.
All right, so
as long as we get like the
starts out with Raw, and of course they draft the man, the undisputed future, the champion after tonight. I guarantee it, Seth Rollins. And SmackDown takes the other guy. That roadkill squirrel, Dean Ambrose.
Oh, she was about to give you the death stare because she likes the Ambrose. Or maybe she's just going to take another nap. I don't know.
Alright, so Raw took Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte was the number 2 pick for
Raw. Which I was kind of like, yeah, I guess. It was kind of weird because it was like, if you're going to put all the cruiserweights on one show, like, why wouldn't you put all the women on the other show? Like, I would have put all the women on Raw. Like, I keep saying this because it's true.
Yeah.
The first hour of Raw should have been a women's hour. And just, like, devote it completely to it with a different announce team. It's LED boards on the ring, so you can change it to whatever you want. Or even just call it Raw and just change, like, it from red to purple or something just to signify, like, oh. Or you can put it in the middle for Raw. I don't care, like, where you put it. But just, like, because Raw's 3 hours and SmackDown's 2 hours, put all the women on. They get a solid hour. And then you could build up. And I also would say twice a year you could run women-only pay-per-views. You got the network. It gives the guys a break, specifically in between the Rumble and WrestleMania, because Fastlane is a retarded concept. There should be no pay-per-view there. It's like, oh, I'm going to go for the title. Now what do I do? Nothing. I am the champion. Like, I should totally defend it before the number 1 contender gets his shot. Because I don't know what number 1 contender means. It's just a retarded concept. Make that Queen of the Ring, because for some reason you guys have ruined King of the Ring. So that way, once a year you get to bring back the Queen of the Ring. That gets to be her gimmick the whole year. She's the queen. And the Queen of the Ring gets to be your number 1 contender going into WrestleMania. You're welcome. Alright, so continuing on, we had Raw's second pick, or SmackDown's second pick.
It was AJ, wasn't it?
AJ Styles. Raw would then pick Roman, I want to say.
No, it was it?
Or was Roman the 4th pick?
Yeah, Roman was the 4th. They picked Finn Balor.
Oh, you're right. Finn Balor. I've seen his name said like 8 different ways. So I call him Balor, but I hear a lot of people call him Balor. I don't know what the fucking tilde on the A with an Irish name is. I'm Irish. I would say Balor. So yeah, continuing on. SmackDown doesn't get a pick because fuck you. And we got our first match, which was
John Cena versus Luke Gallows.
Yeah.
Cena wins.
So Reigns gets picked. SmackDown, I want to say, is this when they took Baron Corbin?
No, that was much. I think it was
Cena.
It was Cena, and then the next one was.
Was it Randy?
It was Randy.
Then Baron.
I think it was Bray.
And then, okay, yeah. So there was quite a few. I don't know why I thought they drafted him so early. I just remember it being like a really weird one. So Raw went Roman, then Cena, And then who did Raw take after that? It was another diva or woman, right? Did they draft the boss?
Paige? It was either Paige.
It was the boss. Because I don't remember Paige being drafted on TV.
You're right, Sasha was. Yeah,
so it was Sasha, and then they drafted Becky, right?
Yeah.
And then it was like Randy and Baron after that.
Yeah. No, it was the New Day. It was,
no, I'm saying
right,
SmackDown.
Right.
I remember Mick Foley said something about, does SmackDown not know there's women in this
right.
thing? And they were like, you cut me off, fine sir. I have a woman in mind. Becky. That's her name. It was just like really contrived and weird. So, I think we're just going to cut out all the draft segments and just kind of give you the highlights of each of the rosters. So, both the Wyatts and the club got split. AJ and Bray are on SmackDown. The club is now on Raw. Strowman is on Raw. Eric Rowan is on SmackDown. Luke Harper is unknown because he was injured. It seemed like they didn't draft anybody who was on injury. Nope. I assume that's because they want to keep them open in case you get other injuries and you need to fill a spot, which makes sense.
Yeah. So nothing on Emma. Neville, because he did get drafted, though.
He's been doing house shows, though. I heard their plan with Neville is they want him to be the cruiserweight star, which makes sense. He's solid and everything. So, yeah, they drafted him early to Raw. NXT call-ups, Nia went to Raw. Carmella, Alexa Bliss, Mojo Rawley, American Alpha all went to SmackDown. So SmackDown definitely has the younger roster.
Yeah, the only one that...
Raw got pretty much all the...
grade A talent.
I'm trying to think of the way to put it. They got everybody who's been in the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn feud. Like Jericho, Cesaro.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, they've been having these same matches.
What?
They didn't split any of them up.
The fuck? It's the one thing people wanted you guys to do. It's going to mix up those particular guys, because we've seen these same 6 people wrestle.
Each other over and over and over and over and over.
For like the last 2 months.
And they put Raw, Cena and Orton on the same show so you can see that feud all over again.
Like, just why? Yeah. They're all decent wrestlers, don't get me wrong. A lot of them are, I mean, they're all really good wrestlers. Who am I kidding? Yeah. We're just sick of seeing the same shit, guys.
Yeah, it was
Give us something different.
So, there's been no word whether or not they're going to put new women's and tag titles on SmackDown. But if Darren wins tonight and Rusev wins and CrossFit Jesus wins, all the titles are on Raw because Charlotte's title's not up for grabs.
Right.
Speaking of which, who do you predict? I've said it a few times. I think it's probably Nikki Bella.
Yeah, it's at this point it's got to be Nikki Bella. A lot of people in the offhand think we're gonna see a Bayley sighting just for tonight, just because she and Sasha had a lot of shit going on when she was in NXT.
I've also heard the idea thrown around of it's Nia Jax, and she becomes the heavy to Sasha, which could also work.
That could also work. Because now that she's drafted, it would make a lot of sense. So those are like the big 3. Those are the big 3. I put Bayley at the bottom just because it's kind of a stretch, but it's not.
I was watching Wrestling Soup, and I can't remember which one of it was, but they brought up a really good point of Bayley is one of their biggest merchandise draws right now, and she's on NXT, so there's no reason to move her right now. You can't guarantee she'll stay as over on the main roster as she is with NXT.
Right.
So until it starts to wane, until she needs to like a new character, like if they're gonna do a new character, that's the time to kick it over. Whether it's heel Bayley, like I would love to see them bring her up, but at the same time, I've seen the way people treat John Cena.
Yeah.
So, and I've heard rumors she's dating Finn, and I could just imagine some of the horrible chants. Like,
oh Jesus Christ.
I don't know if you guys remember, it was a few years ago where it seemed like every woman was dating somebody, and they had the horrible "you suck" blank chant of whichever person it was.
Yeah.
So, I think, 70-30 is the chances. I think 70% she'd be super mega gangbusters over. 30%, she just wouldn't click with everybody. I don't know. We just have to see. So, I'm trying to think of anybody else that's super important. My boy, Ruru. He's on Raw.
Speaking of which,
on SmackDown.
Speaking of which, this was the champion versus contender match.
So
with Darren Young and Zack Ryder versus Rusev and Miz. A decent little match. We finally got to see Darren Young use the crossface chicken wing on the Miz.
Miz immediately taps out, which was smart because he's a champion. No point in getting injured in a non-title match. So good psychology. I loved Miz and Rusev tagging together.
Yeah, that was
Rusev.
This was a good match.
Has such a great character. Miz has such a great character.
Yeah.
Or Miz is like a little chicken shit heel, but he thinks he's the toughest guy in the universe, but he's tagging with him.
Yeah.
Like Rusev is just like the angriest man that has ever been. So yeah, faces go over, but at the same time they made Rusev look really strong. Ryder looked really good.
Yeah, I'm very happy that they've been doing a good job with Zack Ryder and Darren.
I just hope it's not what we were discussing.
Yeah.
There's a not so good rumor going around. I'm not going to spread it, but if that's why he's getting a push, that's pretty shitty.
Yeah.
So, continuing on, there were some more draft picks, but let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Because there was just a lot of filler in the middle of draft picks. Like, I could draft anybody in the universe, but I pick Boring Corbin.
So yeah, we had a match I was looking forward to, which is Bray Wyatt.
The only one that was funny, though, is only because I saw it as a meme, was like, SmackDown drafts American Alpha. And like Raw's like, oh, that's a pretty good pick. But I have an equally good pick, The Big Show. It's just kind of a weird thing.
Yeah. You had Bray Wyatt versus Xavier Woods.
In a stable leaders match, and holy squash match, Batman. Bray Wyatt, he hit an Uranagi. I don't know how Xavier's walking. You like bounced him off the fucking roof of the building.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts.
It was just hellacious. That's the only word to describe it.
Well,
like,
welcome back, Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Like, these are my two favorite tag teams. I'm loving this feud so far. I love this whole thing that they got going on with Xavier, bugging out.
I loved Xavier. He went for the honor roll, but
Bray, like, did
the spider
his
thing
back
just,
thing
like,
scared the piss out of him.
So he did like the headstand flip thing, but like immediately fell on his ass.
Like, it's kind of hokey, but at the same time, I love seeing it. Like, he did the same thing to John Cena on Raw.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm digging it. Like, I just think that's great. Like,
yeah, I wish timing wise they would just kind of change it so it's more like an Undertaker spot.
yeah.
Like a kick out, the guy like gets off him, like scoots back, and then like you try to like use the ropes to get up or whatever, and then Bray pops up into the spider walk.
That's what they need to do with that.
Like, it's just a timing thing, I think. I think it'll happen as he matures.
So yeah, New Day loses a little bit of momentum going into this fight, but this isn't for the titles.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think anybody before this match was like, oh yeah, it's Xavier versus Bray. Xavier definitely has a chance.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see AJ and Bray, see if they ever have a one-on-one.
Oh yeah. If they
because they're both on SmackDown, and there's been a lot of talk about turning Bray face, and maybe breaking up the Wyatt family's the way to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know where that puts Rowan though.
Like, I just don't know how would you go about making Bray face?
I wouldn't change much on all honesty. I would just let him go after heels effectively. I mean, like, he's a tweener as it is.
Yeah.
Like, he is super over with the crowd.
Oh yeah, it's hard to keep a character like that.
He just doesn't have two big guys to cheat in his matches. I think that's all it takes to make him a face. Like, if he goes in there and just murders people, like, look how over Rusev is. and he's like an anti-American, just like, I hate everyone and everything, including this baby. Fuck this baby. Fuck you, Titus O'Neil, and your children that you love. This is your child. I hate you too. And he's just like, yay, Rusev. So, I think that's all it takes. You know, just as long as he's not cheating and he's looking strong, I think Bray's fine.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if they're going to do Bray and Orton, though, before they turn him.
I would like that.
That should be a pretty solid match.
Alright, then we have not even a match. It's supposed to be Kane versus Kevin Owens, but of course Sami Zayn comes out. They're doing the little thing. Kane's just kind of in the ring.
Well, they had to put over young man Kane. It was important.
So, but I mean,
people don't know Kane's gimmick, so if he's not strong and he doesn't hellfire and chokeslam people just aren't going to buy his merchandise. They don't get it.
I did like the whole play, like Kevin, she's like, do it, and then he just like grabs him to don't chokeslam, but.
Yeah, I mean, I love Kane.
Yeah.
It was such a weird decision.
Yeah, just why? Like who decided this? But anyway, we had the 2-on-1 Dana and Charlotte versus Sasha match.
They beat the absolute piss out of Sasha.
So yeah.
Like, they didn't even really try to build it up like, oh, Sasha could go alone on Sunday, which I guess is a better plan. I'm kind of hoping Sasha starts the match tonight without a partner, and then somebody comes out to help her.
Yeah.
Especially if that 1 in a million chance is Bayley. That's how it should be. Or Nikki Bella. I could see Nia coming out and needing her entrance so people know who she is.
Right.
So you need the Nia Jax on the thing. People be like, oh, I've heard about her. And she's supposed to be big and scary. And then she comes out and she's big and scary.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Alright, then we had... It was a better match than I thought it was going to be. It was Jericho versus Cesaro. Again, it wasn't that great, but it was better than nothing, I guess.
Jericho won with a code breaker.
Alright.
Pretty solid. I mean, like, I love Cesaro. Like, he was on my boy list, but they're just not doing anything with him, so it's hard to justify having him there.
Yeah. And then we had not a match between Becky and Natty.
Can I ask a question before we continue on? Whatever happened to the Lucha Dragons Febreze feud? They just gave up on it. Like, that could be a cool feud.
And they just decided to break up the Lucha Dragons, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, you could have had Febreze go over, give them some credibility, and then, you know, do the push shove, Sin Cara turns heel, fuck you. I talked to Stephanie McMahon, she's going to take me to Raw alone. See you in hell. Effectively, like, and do the breakup angle. And then, like, you could do whatever. Like, I wish that's how they had done it.
Yeah, that would have been nice. He pokes out his eye holes. See you later, amigo. Anyway, again, we had the rematch of Seth versus Dean.
Pretty damn solid. I don't think it was quite as good as the Raw match.
Yeah, had a better finish, but...
First time in history, though, that 2 men will have 3 championship matches against each other in the span of a week.
True.
Try had 3 matches in one night for the championship, but it wasn't against the same person. Just in case anybody was wondering. So, yeah. Seth hit, what was it, a turnbuckle powerbomb, and then, like, Dean bounced out of it into the Dirty Deeds.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was your finish. Yeah. I don't like no selling. It just bugs me.
Yeah.
So. But this kind of worked, I guess.
Gives Dean a little more momentum going in because, let's face it, nobody thinks he's going to win.
I mean, I generally, as soon as I saw that, my first thought in my head was, even Stevens booking, Seth goes over Dean at the pay-per-view to keep Roman strong. Roman and Seth are on the same show. They're going to go after each other for the title. That's just my immediate thoughts. What are your predictions for the main event of Battleground? I guess we could just kind of end this video on our prediction stuff.
Yeah, because we still haven't seen it yet, so...
Well, it's only, what, 8? 9?
Yeah. So.
Actually, yeah, I should have started. I didn't even think about that. We'll watch it on, because we had to go pick up his girlfriend anyway, so no point in starting it and then have to pause it and come back. So, I'm saying Ruru, Miz, I don't think they're going to want to create a whole new title. Even though I want them to unite the U.S. and Intercontinental because they mean the exact same thing. I put a TV title on SmackDown. That's just what I'd want, but, you know, fuck what I want. Sasha has to go over because you have to justify the singles match.
Right.
Sethy Poo is my pick.
Yeah, I think Seth is everybody's pick. Like, if they would be fucking crazy to let Roman go over.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how horrible his response is going to be.
They're not gonna put it on Dean. If they did put it on Dean, I'd be very confused.
Yeah. Club and Cena.
Team Club versus Team Cena. What do you think's gonna happen there?
Team Cena, because Cena's been losing a lot, so he needs to get a victory. But I'm going to call it right now. Cena hits the AA on Carl Anderson, drags him, tags, and they do the double rocket launcher on Enzo. So that way, like, you can get the Cena, like, standing, looking goofy, like, with his hands up, like he's going to box somebody that comes in the ring. What else was there?
Don't versus Kevin.
Don't give a shit. Either way, honestly, I'm done. Like, I don't care. I like them both, but I don't care. I think Sammy goes over. It's his turn.
Yeah.
Becky and Natty, I think Becky goes over.
Yeah.
They want to make her the face of SmackDown women. So, yeah, she should go over. Wyatts and New Day. They're breaking up the Wyatts, but at the same time, I feel like Bray means more than the New Day. Or Rowan takes the pin. I think they make Braun look like an absolute beast. I think Bray looks like the second coming of the Undertaker. Like he's just fucking murderlating him. And Rowan, I don't know. I think the Wyatts go over. I think they want to make them look strong.
Yeah, especially because it's not for the titles.
But the fact they're not ever going to go for the title is kind of weird.
Yeah. But either way,
I'm almost going to kind of guess a fuck finish.
Could be.
Maybe Harper debuts. I don't think he's back 100% though. I just don't think he is. I don't want to like Google it because for all I know that's on the pre-show and like they already said it. But I don't think Harper was at 100%. I know he was doing a movie and he was in a leg cast for the movie. Like the character he was playing had a broken leg to sell that he in fact has, I think it's like a torn muscle in his leg or something. Something was wrong with his leg. I don't think he's 100%. So if he's back, I could see them putting the Wyatts over and then just having Harper and Rowan go after the titles with Bray. I don't know. Unless they're going to debut somebody as a new Wyatt.
Could be.
Boring Corbin is on that show, and he's got nothing else going on.
I can see that.
And everybody's been wanting Boring Corbin. Or, I want to say Bo is on SmackDown. Brother of Bray Wyatt.
I forgot that was a thing.
So, if they wanted to put them back together. And he's like, you're a Rotundo. And we grew up and we were happy and everyone loved us. He's like, no, my brother, man. I know the truth. He's like, Daddy never loved me. Or whatever. And like put them together. It's just like a wacky tag.
You, Bo Dallas, are my brother.
But at the same time, I feel like Bray is so much bigger than Bo. It's like, it would be really weird.
Yeah.
Like, it would be a step down for Bray. Like, no offense to Bo, but
who knows what they're going to do with it, but...
Yeah, I think you might get a new Wyatt. That's my guess.
Yeah.
And the Wyatts go over. Because that's the only... Actually, no, because fucking... The New Day are on Raw, so you really can't continue the feud either way. Oh, SmackDown. Or SummerSlam is a co-thing, so maybe the Wyatts go over and it gives them a last chance to be the champions, and then it's kind of like, fuck the system. Our champions are on both shows. Like, one is on each.
Maybe.
That could be an interesting thing.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see what they're going to be doing on Raw and SmackDown for the titles. It's definitely going to be interesting.
Because that also works with the Wyatts, because you don't want Wyatts to work every show.
Right.
It just kind of hurts their mystique. So if you have a champions, then one is on each show, so they can do singles matches, but it's every once in a great while that one could go after the titles. That keeps the titles on both shows, so it keeps all the tag teams active.
Interesting.
That might be my prediction. I think Wyatt's go over in this, and we'll see some sort of SummerSlam rematch for the title.
Yeah, I can dig that. Alright, guys. We're gonna magically snap my fingers, and we will be after
We've seen
the show, so here we go. And guys, we are back. Dave, a little none too happy about that last match, but we will get to that at the end.
Oh, why?
Well, so the one on the pre-show for Battleground was the Usos versus Fandango.
All right, so my boys. They got some big wins tonight. One of them didn't pull through for me.
Yeah, we ended up calling this pretty close. We only ended up getting 2 matches wrong out of the entire thing, so we were pretty good.
I even called the pre-show match because it was my boys versus the Usos. And my boys won it because they're my boys.
It's cool. I'm glad that they're getting like a push.
The Dangler would also get a shout out later in the night, but we'll talk about it when we get there. Because my boys are taking over.
So the first match of the night, which I was a little bit surprised at, was Charlotte and Dana Brooke versus Sasha and Bayley. Which a lot of people thought it was a possibility, but you know,
it was really cool until JBL ruined it and being like, "Oh, she's not staying on up here.
Yeah,
go back down to NXT, woman."
So it was great to see her there. Of course, you know, Bayley did a great job. The whole match was fun. There really wasn't too many bad matches.
No, other than the main event. I enjoyed almost the entire night. I wasn't super keen on the highlight reel. Other than that, like, it was a pretty damn good night. Alright, I'm just going to kind of take it out of order. Which women's match did you like more? The tag match?
Oh, yeah.
Or
far and away the tag match.
Okay.
I thought the Becky and Natty match was kind of a piss break match.
I liked it. But I like, you know, straight up technical.
Yeah.
Stretch.
Yeah. Again, it wasn't a bad match. Not at all.
Alright, so Bayley, I mean, she got a very loud pop, but I don't know if it was just the crowd or the mics.
Yeah, like I felt like we kind of got this vibe going on the whole night that the mics didn't.
Yeah, it just kind of felt like they just weren't set up right or something.
Yeah.
So that was kind of weird. So I don't really know what else to say about this. Charlotte tapped out to the bank statement. Bayley's going back down. I mean, it was cool to see Bayley on the main roster, but at the same time, I kind of wish it was somebody they could do a storyline with. Continue forward.
True.
Unless the storyline continuing forward is you had a partner, now you don't. Now, what are you going to do to win the title? Which I guess is a legitimate story to tell, but
yeah.
All right, let's continue onward.
All right, and one of the most anticipated matches of the night was the New Day versus the Wyatts. Again, this is a very solid match. Bray looking really good. They made toward the end of the match, even though they lost to the Wyatts, they made Xavier look really good.
Yeah, everybody pretty much came out of this match looking better, except for maybe Kofi. Kofi was kind of the
he kind of took
the body bag for the Wyatts.
Yeah, he kind of took Xavier Woods' normal spot.
But I mean, he still looked strong in it. Bray looked amazing.
Oh God, so happy.
Bray was the star of this. I haven't looked online, but I'd be curious to see whether or not Big E got hurt.
Oh yeah, that
his spear on Strowman. Like Strowman tried to fall, but when you're 6'8", 400 pounds, you're not exactly taking a back bump off the apron.
Yeah, Big E looked like he landed right on the dome.
Yeah, so in him trying to protect himself, it kind of like dropped Big E. And I've been saying this since he used it. Stop using that move, brother. I wouldn't mind if he did a running, tackle, but doesn't go out. Like, that's fine, but that looks like bad juju.
Yeah, it's the last thing we need.
The finish was, I had an issue with it.
Yeah.
Xavier wasn't the legal man. I'm always watching. I'm watching when you don't think I'm watching.
Yeah.
Kofi was the legal man. Kofi got thrown out. And then you had like the standoff. This was kind of a thing the whole night with the referees not really seeming to follow the rules. Like this and then the club one, like you just you went by the lucha rules, which I'm fine if WWE wants to use that. Where a tag also counts if you get knocked out of the ring.
Right.
So like once you're out of the ring, somebody can run in and take your spot effectively. Which, whatever if you want to go with those rules, but that's not WWE rules. And it was just weird. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. The highlights of the match were Bray Wyatt's spin around clothesline on Kofi. Holy shit! He dropped Kofi right on his head. And
flipped them up and then like around.
Braun Strowman, like, it was Xavier, right?
Yeah.
He punched the fuck out of him. Like, I literally saw...
Punched the unicorn right out of it.
Yeah, like, if Xavier was planning on getting lucky tonight, he no longer is able to because the fuck was punched out of him. Like, I was just like, holy shit. And just because I liked the spot, and I'm glad Rowan brought back the double smusher on the head with the fist. I dig it. The Wyatts look super duper tough. Because I was worried that they were just going to be like, screw it with Rowan. We'll get to him. So,
yeah, very interested to see what they're going to do with Braun Strowman, him being the only Wyatt.
I think they'll keep him strong. They seem to like him. I think Bray is fine. I'm really curious to see what they do with Eric Rowan on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Whether he's just going to be Bray's lackey still, or if he's going to go do singles stuff.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if they took him away from Bray. But
we were actually talking about it. We had to go pick up off-screen Aaron, and I was like, you know what? This could be the night to debut a new Wyatt.
Yeah, they definitely got to get... I would appreciate that.
I'm thinking Baron Corbin could be... So, alright, continuing on.
Alright, then we had the DFC Boys match, Rusev versus Zack Ryder.
Oh, Rusev crushed. And we'll get on to some other Rusev-related stuff later on in the night. See everything, WWE. You can't get anything by me. Including pervy stuff. I see it all.
So yeah, this was a pretty solid match, They made Zack Ryder, Zack Ryder, I don't think anybody thought he was going to actually win this, but, they made him look good. Rusev, just a monster as always, it's...
I'm digging, because so many people have used the camel clutch. I'm kind of digging his inverted one.
Yeah.
Where he kind of sits down, he locks his legs around your body so you can't really do it, and he just yanks your head back and tries to effectively shove your head up your own ass. And I get it, you don't want to put that on everybody, but I think he should almost use that over the standard accolade from now on. So,
that'd be pretty cool.
I'm still in the camp that Rusev needs an actual, slam or strike as a finish. But, it's alright right now. I don't know what exactly I'd give him. I mean, personally, I would just give him the pile driver, but I know WWE seems to think that move is so much more dangerous than everything else. So, I don't know. I think he just needs some sort of maneuver for a finish.
Right.
So, continuing on.
Next up, we had the feud ender.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Both on Raw.
Yeah, take that with a little grain of salt. Between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Solid match all around. A lot of nice spots.
Probably the second biggest cheer of the night outside of Daniel Bryan's entrance. Sami Zayn hit a like, it's called a half Nelson suplex. I call it Dragon Tiger because you hook one side Tiger suplex, one side Dragon, throw him over. Owens popped up straight out of it, and then he got hit with a second one. That was a cool spot. The crowd really popped for that.
Yeah.
The finish was a haluva kick. He caught him trying to fall, set him back up, and then hit him with another haluva kick. Sami Zayn is your winner. Really solid match.
Yeah.
Probably match of the night. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I think that this definitely...
Oh, one other thing before this match. Mojo came out to make the save on Ryder, so maybe they'll do something
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Actually, never mind. They're on different shows. So, Rusev, who knows what he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
Rusev's on Raw.
Yeah, so... It was that part was really weird, too, because Rusev was just like...
Yeah, it was like Rusev honestly didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
He's just like...
Who is this guy and why is he yelling at me?
Security. Get this man out of my ring.
Alright, so, yeah, Sami and Kevin... I think we're going to give that our match of the night.
I don't know. Rusev crushing Ryder after he tried to assault Lana on the outside. I saw it. I saw the lust in his eyes. I could see it straight to the back of his head.
Of course, we got to talk about Zack Ryder's sort of macho man, sort of Ultimate Warrior looking America swag he was going on.
Yeah, he had a America full-on gimmick tonight. He was rocking it heavy, but it was no match for your American hero, Rusev.
Alright, so going on to the next match, it was another feud-ending match, quote-unquote. Again, they are also on the same show, so who knows. Becky versus Natty.
Natty did a lot of leg work, pardon the pun, on Becker's. I mean, I enjoy it, but I could see a lot of people that don't enjoy this.
Yeah.
It's sit down, it's work a limb kind of. I really enjoyed it, but it was very slow. So it's.
Yeah, it's a very slow pace.
I could get a lot of people that don't like this match. I could totally understand it. Like the. I don't know what you would call it, like a knee bar bow, where Natty keeps sitting down, she got the leg locked, and she keeps pushing on the knees to spread them open. And they're just kind of fighting out of it. Like, that was a very long spot, but I liked it. Pretty much the whole story was she was working a knee to soften it up for the sharpshooter.
Right.
She ends up going over, which was very surprising because I thought Becker's for sure would be their goal in mind for the women's division of SmackDown, but who knows? Maybe they're going to keep Charlotte as the sole champion, and she'll do travel. Same with Ambrose. Same with the tag titles, maybe. It would make drafting them kind of stupid, though.
Yeah.
And the U.S. and IC will be the only traveling or stationary titles. Well, and the cruiserweight. All right, so continuing on, it was Miz, right?
Yep, Miz versus Darren Young.
So Darren Young comes out first, and whatever. He has his solid entrance, whatever. Miz comes out in an elephant mask.
I'm pretty sure it was a bird.
He had a trunk.
It was like an old masquerade bird mask.
Like,
although it was very elephant-like.
You're like bent up
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah, this was like straight out of fucking Eyes Wide Shut. Very weird looking, almost bondagey looking.
Especially with what Maurice
Was wearing. Yeah.
She's in her full-on bondage, like, lingerie.
So it was odd, to say the least. But
And it got odder. Like, she hit Backlund, but then started selling that he hit her, I guess.
yeah, I think that's what it was.
It's really weird. Like, Miz is a heel. He was going to walk out anyways. Like, why does she have to fall down and be like, he hit me? Like, just be like, Miz, get him. He'd be like, oh no, my honor will be besmirched, ma'am. Like, it's really weird what they're doing with her. Like, I said, give her a gimmick weapon so she can slide it to the Miz. I don't care what it is. Make it a purse, just so everybody can make fun of Miz for holding her purse. I know, I'm a genius. So, yeah, that was how the match ended. The best unintentional bit of comedy, though, was Bob Backlund still having his arms in the sleeve of his torn-up shirt.
Yeah.
And making Incredible Hulk sex sounds. Yeah, it was a really weird match. Not bad, not great. It's weird that Darren Young's gear says block the hate instead of make Darren Young great again.
Yeah.
Like, MADYGA. It's weird. But I guess that's a lot to put on your trunks.
Yeah.
Alright,
so another big match of the night was the Club versus Team Cena.
So Team Cena comes out first, and they cut a very long promo. You really liked it?
I thought it was pretty good.
I enjoyed it, I guess. There was a couple spots that got me really cracked up. He definitely proved to me, because there was a rumor going around they were going to do a roast of John Cena on the network. Just a little fun thing. Enzo needs to be the host of it.
Absolutely.
Like, he tore it up. He had Cena laughing. Probably the second funniest thing in the night. We'll get to the funniest thing later on. Alright, we get to the match. So they split up the club just in time to give them club merchandise, so, good job. Also, the club, the Raw team were wearing red, and AJ was wearing blue. Did you notice that?
Oh, yeah.
So, Raw and SmackDown, 2 thumbs up. Alright, so we got the match itself. Pretty solid. Again, I'm a rule guy. I'm a Jack Tunney guy. So, Enzo kept running into the ring when he wasn't tagged in, and the referee never did anything about it. So that really just kind of, threw me through a loop. Like, referee, do your damn job. Like, if there's one thing I hate, it's faces who cheat that no one seems to give a shit about.
Yeah.
Like, it was a big issue I had when Shamo was a face, and he used to do the 10 beats of the Bowery, and I'd be like, why is the referee not counting? He's in the ropes. It's one of those things that just bugs the shit out of me. Like, that's a heel thing. And the heels never did it. So, other than that, pretty solid. I don't know what was going on with the finish.
Yeah.
I think maybe AJ was just trying to sell like he was climbing out of it, but it kept looking like he was trying to reset himself on John Cena's shoulders, so I don't know if, Cena just didn't have him locked in right. Or, Cena's so wide he was having a hard time getting around him to sit on his shoulders. But yeah, a Brett's rope attitude adjustment won the match. A pretty cool little thing. I don't know. I kind of got the feeling like a little bit of this shines off Big Cass. I don't know. Maybe it was just me. They definitely didn't protect him like they normally do.
No.
I mean, granted, he's in there with top guys. So maybe that was a little bit of it.
Yeah, because, you don't want to, especially if you're going to put them, I'm trying to think of what I'm going to say here. If you're going to put them as top the charts as they want, or as what they're going to do,
yeah,
they got to show that, they're willing to do the roughing and bruising, If you're just going to have Big Cass do nothing other than win for the team, not take all the big bumps.
Yeah, that's kind of his spot. He's the big heater. So, alright. Talk is Jericho segment, right? Or
the highlight reel with Randy Orton.
Pretty heavily skippable, other than Randy Orton making the steroids joke. Where he said, it might take 20 suplexes to go to Suplex City, but it only takes 1 RKO to go to Viperville. No supplements required, or no enhancements required.
Yeah.
And Chris Jericho cracked up and had to take a little short walk to come back to the segment.
Yeah,
So I'm assuming that wasn't a planned line.
No.
That was the best line of the night.
Absolutely,
It's one of those things people are like, oh, WWE should suspend Brock Lesnar. I'm like, what would that do? He's suspended. I think he's not going to show up before the pay-per-view. You got what you wanted, fans. Don't worry. Guess what? He's been suspended for the last 4 months, too. He's been suspended since WrestleMania. That makes you feel better. it's just a stupid thing. Like, they need to do something. Maybe it's they can put Orton over. I mean, that sounds really stupid to me, but they need to come up with an actual punishment for Brock. Like, suspension isn't a thing when you only work 4 matches a year. Like, oh no, we're not going to pay you for that time you're not there.
Yeah, I know, right? So that's probably what will end up happening, or at least that's what should happen.
Or cut into his purse on the pay-per-view. That's the only thing I can think of. But they need to put something out there and just be like... But then again, I assume Brock's going to want to fight this case. Because supposedly he's passed 8 and failed 2. So, statistically, you could make an argument that it was a false positive, but at the same time, it's...
You never know.
Maybe on 1, but to say it's on 2. I don't know. I don't know what Brock's going to say. Supposedly, the leak is he pissed hot for something you take after you're cycling off steroids. It's an estrogen blocker. If you don't know what it does, effectively, once you come off the roids, you'll gain weight. And if you take an estrogen blocker, you'll build up more testosterone naturally, effectively, and then it'll kind of help you maintain a little bit. Alright, so that was pretty much it. Main event time. So, first you had the GMs and their commissioners come out, which, whatever. I wish they would have stayed on the stage or something. Like, they were in the way pretty heavily.
Yeah. And of course, just had the both locker rooms, you know, watching the match.
Which I like. I dig that. Not yet. We'll get to it. So, Sethy Poo comes out first. To the biggest reaction of the 3, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Roman came out, and they heavily warped the background sound so bad that it changed his music. It's like, boo-doo, boo-doo, boo-doo. It sounded like it was underwater. I was like, okay. But then, like, immediately they're like, oh, the people, they're booing Roman tonight. It's like, so why did you cut the booze out?
If you knew what's going to happen, something you were expecting.
I just don't get why you fight the crowd on that. Like, make him a heel. You have Ambrose. You have Rollins. Switch him. Like, Rollins can be the baby face. Reigns can be the heel. I don't get why you're fighting the crowd at this point. Like, alright, going into Mania, you're like, these are my options. I really want to try this. It's failed. Then he did drugs and proved everybody's been booing them the entire time right, effectively. It doesn't matter what he pissed hot for, whether he took too much fucking cough syrup because he had, or he was just fucking doing blue meth in the fucking bathroom. Like, it doesn't matter. He pretty much ruined his chances of getting those people. Like, now they have a concrete excuse to be like, no, I don't like him. So I would just switch him around. I don't see the point to it. So they keep cutting back and forth to reaction shots of everybody. And during one of the reaction shots, the cameraman looked straight up Lana's skirt. I don't know if she wears shorts. I know she usually does if she's out at the ring. But yeah, you could see something. And I immediately noticed it, and I was like, no one thought that one through. Like, Lana's sitting there, put the camera, like, because like, the camera's set directly on her. And like it pans to everybody else. So like when you set it up the first time, you didn't notice like, oh, I can see straight up your skirt. Maybe put her jacket on her legs or something. But Rusev is sitting in the most ridiculous way. Like his legs are like out to here. Like he's just like, look at my Rusev junk. So yes, it was kind of funny. That like her business ended up being on there, despite the fact Rusev is sitting like
spreading
parallel. It was just. Anyway, I can't believe no one noticed it. All right, so getting back to the match, the finish of the match was Sethy Poo goes for the powerbomb in the corner. My most hated spot, the no sell, into a Superman punch, right? And then he backed into it, and then went for the spear. Dean Ambrose picked him up. Dirty Deeds. He gets the victory. The crowd was kind of silent, and then like his music started playing, and then they started cheering. So I think it kind of confused everybody.
Yeah.
And then John Cena came out to hot dog and grandstand with him. It was weird.
Well, the whole SmackDown locker room did.
But Cena was
front and
far
center.
enough away the first. And alright, I'll give you a John Cena. Like Zack Ryder, Ziggles. Why was Natty out there? Why would heel female wrestler Natty care if the men's champion was on SmackDown? I'll wait. There is no fucking answer. It was weird. Like, I'll give you Becky too. Like, Becky, she's a good guy, so she's like, oh, good job, good guys. We won the day. We beat the druggie and Seth, who's an asshole. So yeah, that's how they went off the air. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I wish we would have got a more decisive finish, one way or the other. I mean, I guess it plays into what the Dean Ambrose character is, so I can't really fault them for that.
Yeah.
And any final thoughts from you? Because I think I pretty much said my piece on it.
I don't think anybody.
You're a bigger Ambrose fan, so
yeah,
I'm not an Ambrose fan at all. So,
as much as I like Dean, I don't think anybody. I think everybody's money was on Seth.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like Seth, even if you like Roman, even if you like Dean, the number one guy in this match to win was Seth. All right,
I gotta ask you something, because, and you guys too, throw it in the comments. Do you feel Dean Ambrose is a top guy?
I feel like, I don't know, like, it's funny you ask, like,
because like I don't like Roman, but I can at least be like, yeah, Roman's a top guy. Cena's a top guy. AJ's a top guy. I think Owens has top guy in him. I think Sammy's a little bit under top guy. Seth is a top guy. Bray's a top guy, and I think that's about it for like the Orton too. I guess like those are your main, always here week in week out top guys. And I think Balor's going to probably be in that.
I feel like without Seth and Roman, he's not. Like, I feel like he's got those two guys to work on. Yeah, he can be a top guy, but...
So if his program on SmackDown has him and...
Like, I feel like like we said with Sami Zayn, like, he kind of straddles that line.
If it wasn't for Owens, you don't think he'd feel like he's a top guy?
Yeah, like, it just...
Like, he's stuck in the feud with the top guy, so it makes him feel bigger.
Exactly.
Which is one thing I have to say, I wonder how AJ's going to do once he's not with Cena.
Right.
See if people still care. Like, I will, but will other people.
So, very interesting to see what they're going to do with the championships now.
Yeah.
Because right now, we got, on Raw, we have the USA title, and the women's, and we're going to eventually have Cruiserweight.
And the tag.
And the tag. And right now on SmackDown, we have the WWE Championship and Intercontinental.
Yeah.
So these next couple shows, Monday and Tuesday, going to be very interesting to watch. Very important, so.
Butthurt.
I don't think you explained why you randomly have a different mask.
Yeah, I wore my Seth Rollins inspired mask. The black. The chrome. I'm in mourning. I am the sad.
So yeah, guys, that pretty much does it for this year's Battleground. Tell us what you guys thought of it. Were you disappointed? Did you think it was pretty good? What were your predictions and how many of them did you get right? The only ones we didn't get, we thought Becky was going to go over Natty, and we thought Seth was going to take the title.
And I also called the Brig Show.
Yeah.
Because my boys.
So, yeah. And I think we also discussed it in the last video, or the first part of this video, that we thought that Sasha's teammate could have either been, I think our number one pick was it Nikki?
Yeah, we all assumed it was Nikki Bella. I thought it would be Nia Jax to give her something to do. But yeah, I guess this works too.
Yeah, I was hoping, Bailey was kind of like on that list, but I always thought it would be like...
You wanted Bailey.
Yeah, I wanted Bailey. I didn't think it was actually going to be Bailey.
Yeah, I wanted Nia Jax. That was just the way it broke down. But, Bailey went in there. We'll see what they go with it. Hopefully the storyline makes sense going forward.
But alright, guys.
I gotta say before we wrap it up, a little sad we didn't get any of these new NXT people that went up. None of them were on Battleground.
Yeah, except for Mojo's the only one that showed up.
Yeah, he just kind of did like a.
I'm here.
My boy.
Yeah.
At least they name dropped the Hype Riders.
Yeah.
Or the
Hype Bros.
Hype Bros. So, alright, guys. I am Dave.
And I am Super Funk. We'll see you guys next time.